inner join, I'm going to get the same result. So I'll just use a left join. So I'll say left join onto order line. And then I'm going to alias order line as OL. And then when I join in like this, I have to specify on what attribute do I join them on. What do you guys think? What attribute do we join order line to order on?
Order ID.
Order ID, good job. Order ID on OL dot order ID equals O dot order ID. Now, the moment I do that, I can bring in dimensions from the order line table now into my data set. I'm going to bring in the product ID, and I'm going to bring in the quantity of that product ID order. The only other attribute on there is order ID, and I'm already bringing that in from the order table, so I don't need to duplicate that, right? So if we execute this or hit F5, we have now more information that we need to get data in the right, to get the data into the right format for the warehouse crew, but we're not done yet. Is product ID enough? Is customer ID enough? Does this tell me what needs to go where?
No. No.
What other joins should I do? What do you guys think? What other joins should I do?
Customer table.
All right, let's do that one. So left join customer as C, and then what attribute do I join customer on?
Customer ID.
Customer ID, good job. The moment I do that, I can now bring in dimensions from the customer. And I'll go up here to ID and add customer name right next to customer ID. And then what else is on customer? Customer address, customer city, I need all of this. Customer state, customer postal code, and that should do it. Okay, so now if I hit F5, okay, I have a lot more information here now, which is great.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. I just have a question. Is it not case sensitive? So like the C is the OL dot.
No,
Oh,
not,
it's not case sensitive.
no sir,
What about the name of the like attributes and keys and whatnot?
not case sensitive.
Not case. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I just pasted this query into chat in case you're struggling along. I'll catch you up. You can just paste that right in. So I still need some information on the product table. So let's join in the product table next. On what attribute? What attribute? Not everybody at once.
Product ID?
Product ID. So let's go to product ID equals product ID order line. Now we're gonna go up here to where product ID is, and I'll start adding in product information. P dot product description. P dot product price. And P dot product finish. Okay. Now I've got more information on the product. All right, now I know what the price is per item, but remember I've got quantity now. So if this person ordered 10 computer desks, they're only paying $250? No, they're paying $250 per. So what's the entire line item on the order worth? Well, we got to multiply it, right? What do we multiply? Can someone tell me what we need to multiply to get the total line item sale amount?
Standard price and quantity.
Yep. So I'm going to grab standard price and quantity. I'm going to duplicate them, and I'm going to multiply them together using an asterisk. Asterisk doubles as the multiplication symbol too. And I'm going to alias this as total. Total sales. And there it is, right? My $250 computer desk times 10 is 2,500. So now I have total sales. I know how many of each product to ship where. Do I have everything I need for the warehouse crew? What do you guys think?
I believe so.
Yeah, Natalie thinks so too. So, okay, now that we've got everything, I never want to do this again, right? I never want to have to do this query again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it as a canned query called a view. I'm going to right click on views and I'm going to click new view, and then I'm going to paste in all of that SQL right here. And then I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to save it as sales detail. And I'm going to close it. Now if I refresh views, I see query sales detail. So now I can just say select all from query sales detail. And there we go. Now, IntelliSense doesn't see this new object yet, so I'm going to tell it to refresh its cache. You don't need to worry about that. All right, any questions on this? Any questions so far on this? Here's what's great about it, is now it's easier to manipulate. Let's say I wanted to do what we're going to learn when we open up the chapter on SQL after the exam, so next week. We'll learn about scalar, aggregate, and vector aggregate queries. So I'm going to do an aggregate function. I'm going to sum up total sales. Okay, I have sold $20,900 worth of product. Now, let's say I wanted to see total sales by customer. I'm going to go from a scalar aggregate to a vector aggregate. And the reason it's a vector aggregate query is because I'm giving it a vector to somebody. That vector is a dimension called customer name. So I have to say group by customer name. Now I get the total sales, and see how it says no column name? I forgot to alias this as total cost sales. Now, what if the CEO came to me and the CEO said, hey Jake, I need to know which customer has the biggest percentage of our business, brings in the most revenue, and what percentage is that? Do I have the data necessary, sufficient enough to answer the question? What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a matter of putting it together, right? So I'm gonna use, so remember, I'm gonna put two queries on. I'm gonna copy and paste the same query. I'm gonna take off the customer name. And I'm gonna take off the group by of one of them. I'm gonna show you guys that you can execute two select statements and get two data sets in your results. Okay, but this is two separate queries that are running. This is not one query. Okay, and the requirement is to have one query that can tell you what percentage of your business is coming from which customer. Okay, this is different than the warehouse crew. This is something the C-suite needs to work a deal, to give a discount, to invite to an event, the biggest customer that you have, right? Whatever it might be. So in order to do the percent of business, I need to bring in total sales across all the customers. And I need to bring it in at the line item level to take this and divide it by total to get the percentage, right? Like a pie chart. Let's say the requirement is to give a pie chart. The CEO wants a pie chart of which customers contribute the most to sales. So I can now take this query and put it right next, inside this query. I'm gonna call it total sales. So we have total customer sales and total sales. And I need to divide customer sales over total sales. So I'm gonna do that nested query again. And I need to bring in the sum of sales and divide it by total sales, and I'll call that percent of sales. Okay, I'm gonna throw this in chat. Now I'm gonna delete the total sales in the middle because I don't really need to know what the total sales is. I just want to know the percentage of business. Okay, now let's say I wanted to sort it from top to bottom by percentage of sales. I can wrap another query around this. Select all from. And now this query becomes my base. I'm gonna call it T0 for table 0. And then I'm gonna say order by percent of sales descending. Okay, now I know who the percentage is by biggest to smallest. Okay, now I can take this query, go over here to views, go to new view. And I can as query sales by customer. And I'll never have to type that again. Remember the little template. Okay. Any questions, class? There's no limitations to how many queries you can nest into other queries. You could do a query inside of a query inside of a query, and that's what I love about SQL, is it gives you the ability to manipulate the data to get it to the exact format you need for the next step of your process, whatever that process may be. If you're doing some sort of machine learning algorithm, you need data to be in a certain format. If you're trying to build a dashboard in Power BI, you need data in a certain format. And the SQL language gives you the ability to manipulate the data set so well. And I'll give you another example. So if you Google W3 schools, you'll see Microsoft SQL, a list of Microsoft SQL functions. You can also get them off of Microsoft's website. But let's just take a look at the postal code on our detailed query that we did. This postal code is the full-length postal code, but it's not really formatted well. It's missing the hyphen. Let's say that the requirement is to fix that. I'm going to use a string function that's not any different than the same ones in Microsoft Excel, right and left. So I'm going to say left, and I'll just copy the text here rather than write it. I'm going to take the first 5 characters on the left of the zip code. I'm going to add in my hyphen, and I'm going to add it to the last 4 characters on the right. And I'm going to call it zip corrected. And I'm going to execute it. And look what I did. Cleaned it up. Okay, another thing that was bothering me is if we look at order date, it's currently in this date time format, all these unnecessary zeros. I could change the data type from date time just to date. Okay, so there's all sorts of functions. Functions give you the ability to manipulate data. And it's really fun. I love doing this. Puzzles all day long. Now, if you guys didn't do a good job of following along because I'm either going too fast or you got stuck or you got a computer error or whatever, go into PBF and you can download the SQL files there as well. But I did paste it all as text in chat. So you could copy and paste it from chat in the SQL Server Management Studio and it should work just fine as well. But I've also got some SQL queries here for you just to look at in Studio. All right, guys, that was a lot. That was a pretty lengthy SQL tutorial to get you guys going with select statements. So I will introduce project 2, which is all about select statements, after our exam. So next week, I will introduce project 2 when we're back together on campus. Okay, are there any questions that I can answer for you